The first video game I ever played is probably Pac-Man. When I was just a little kid, just knee-high to a grasshopper. My grandmother owned a restaurant, and so when I was a little kid, I was growing up in the restaurant as my family was all working there. And my grandma had a Pac-Man machine kind of in one of the corners of the restaurant, and she was really, really good at Pac-Man. She could beat anybody at Pac-Man. She could play for hours and hours. Sometimes I'd be like, "Grandma, I want to play Pac-Man," and she would open up the little cartridge, the case, and push a little few free plays for me, and I would spend about 30 seconds getting summarily destroyed. But that was my first video game experience, was with Pac-Man. I'm not sure which one came first because my memory's a little hazy down in that period of my life. It was either Final Fantasy I or Dragon Quest I. I played them both. Final Fantasy I, I remember what I really liked about it was that you could kind of choose which characters you wanted to play. So you could kind of build your own party. You could make something that completely worked or something that completely fell flat on its face. And kind of the trial by error and the ability to explore a world and see what was in that world was a lot of fun for me. This is going to be maybe controversial, maybe not, depending on who you talk to. I think out of all the video game music that I listen to, and I listen to a lot, my favorite has got to be from Unlimited SaGa. It is just pure magic, pure butter all the way through from the start to the finish. It is just a joy. So if you're getting a chance to listen to it, the overture is really good, the battle themes are really good, the whole thing is just A+ from start to finish. Final Fantasy VI. If you haven't played Final Fantasy VI, I think that is the best of all the Final Fantasies. It is a classic. The characters are all believable. They're very varied. They're diverse. If you haven't played the game, I'm not going to spoil it, although I don't know how much one can spoil a game that's like 25, 30 years old at this point. But there's a big twist in the middle that causes the world to be turned on its head. And just that twist, the first time it struck me, I was like, wow, this is not the end of the game. This is actually just the start of the game. And that was really formative for me when I was in my, I guess, middle school years back then. My proudest career achievement probably is actually, it's going to be SaGa Emerald Beyond, I'm going to say. It was the first title that I put out since kind of, taking on the mantle of localization director of the SaGa franchise. And I put a lot of heart and soul into trying to make the localization as good as it can be and try to bring content to the fans and interact with people in a way that brought SaGa a bit closer to heart. And seeing everything the team has come up with and knowing that even in some small way my contributions will have brought that game to a wider audience is just really humbling and a wonderful experience. Okay, there are a few things that I'm really proud of about SaGa Emerald Beyond. The first one is that how it is just a conglomeration of everything that's made SaGa great to date. The first of those things is that we brought mechs back, and I absolutely love mechs. So having mechs in a SaGa game again feels like an homage to some of the best elements of SaGa. My first SaGa was the Final Fantasy Legend II, which was the Game Boy SaGa 2, originally released in 1990. And that game obviously had mechs. That was the first time mechs appeared in the series. And to kind of have them come back and be available for everybody is really fun. And I like the way we interpreted them in SaGa Emerald Beyond. The other thing is just the complete freedom of choice and the ability to craft a story that you think the characters would create if you were in their shoes. A lot of Japanese role-playing games in particular kind of have, a main storyline that they take you down. And SaGa's always been known for having, a really wide open world to explore. And kind of the world is the protagonist of most SaGa games. And SaGa Emerald Beyond really leans into that dynamic, I think. And it tries to create a world, or I guess 17 worlds, a universe, that is very believable and that you can explore at your own pace and create stories that you would want to create if you were in those worlds. And so I'm very proud of that as well. The third thing I'm proud of is the voice acting in SaGa Emerald Beyond. The game doesn't have full voices. Most of the major cutscenes in the beginning and the end of the game are voiced. And of course, all the battle voices are voiced as well. But we put a lot of effort into trying to create really believable, fun characters. And some of them take turns that I think the players are going to find a little bit unexpected. And I think exploring those little nooks and crannies and some of the little tidbits that we put into those voices are going to be a lot of fun for players to explore. I'd say one game that I couldn't live without that I haven't worked on and this is maybe cheating a little bit, but I will say Final Fantasy X. And I say it's cheating a little bit because I have done some Final Fantasy X ancillary stuff. And the reason why I say I can't live without it is because it was the first game that I played in Japanese before I played it in English. I had played games in Japanese before, but it was always kind of like after I played the English version. So I already knew what the story was, and so it was easy for me to understand. And so I have a lot of fond memories of Final Fantasy X because it was the first game I played in Japanese. And it kind of smacked me down and made me realize, wow, I really do not understand this language nearly as much as I need to accomplish my goals in life. And it kind of really pushed me and got me moving forward into wanting to learn languages better and become better at Japanese to kind of eventually get me where I am today. So that's one game that I don't think I could live without. Thank you for your interest in SaGa. Obviously, SaGa is a franchise that hasn't necessarily gotten as much time in the spotlight as some of our other franchises, but we know that those of you who love SaGa are absolutely passionate about it, and good news, I am too. That's why I'm here in front of you today. Thank you very much for enjoying SaGa. I think we really, did a great job with SaGa Emerald Beyond, and if you're a fan of the franchise, I think you'll find a lot to love in the game. We are committed to continuing to bring you new SaGa experiences, both now and in the future. And I hope you continue to stick with us. And thank you very much. And you can follow me on Twitter. I'll put my link in the YouTube description below. Is this on YouTube? YouTube. Okay. On the YouTube description below. And yeah, please follow me on Twitter and chat me up. Maybe we can talk about SaGa a little bit.